Glad you're streaming with us. We're learning more about those missed warning signs before last week's devastating mass shooting in Maine that killed 18 people and injured 13 others. Documents actually show that the shooter's family contacted the sheriff's office back in May over concerns about his mental health and his access to guns as an Army reservist.
The sheriff and officials say they are now reevaluating policies and procedures, but this is renewed debate over the mentally ill and access to firearms. ABC News Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas joins us now. Pierre, this is just a shocking story. Well, what's the latest on it?
Well, I think the thing here that jumps out, Terry, is the fact that here's a case where people in law enforcement, people in the military were well aware that Robert Card was, in descending mental health status, that he had discussed acts of violence involving his fellow soldiers, that he was becoming paranoid. And the dominating thing that comes out of this, the infuriating thing, I'm sure, for people in Maine, is that the people who were in a position to do something about this knew and did not do enough.
So let's talk about that, because every time we cover a horrendous mass shooting like this of any kind, there was always some type of warning sign. Somebody knew something. So what are authorities going to do now that this is out on the table? There were numerous warning signs. What are they going to do to prevent this lack of follow-through?
Well, when you hear the sheriff say that they're going to have to re-examine their policies, I think the community there is going to demand it. The more the community learns about this, remember, this is a community that was in hiding up until, late Thursday, Friday, hiding, unable to even grieve. And the more information that comes out that this was shared with law enforcement and the military, the question will be, what was the follow-through? When you're told the man is proficient at weapons, some of the language I read from the documents the ABC News obtained spoke of him being a firearms instructor, someone who was clearly capable of using the weapons. But the focus seemed to be on him perhaps attacking fellow soldiers and not so much the broader community. Now, why they would rule that out, why they wouldn't focus on that as much, I don't know. But I think the thing that is clear is that there was not the kind of follow-up one would suspect it would need to happen in a case like this, where someone has access to, military-style weapons and who is clearly, hearing voices, no less. That's a question that's going to be very difficult for law enforcement officials there and for the community at large.
Well, Pierre, hopefully that law enforcement can institute policies and practices. They ought to have done so already. But those are organizations that can stand up a defense against the mentally ill who shouldn't have access to firearms, having access to firearms. What about the public, though? I mean, as you point out, every one of these shootings, people knew, right? They say, see something, say something. But does there need to be almost like a civil defense aspect to this, where ordinary Americans have got to be trained or taught in a way to respond to the dangers of a mentally health friend, relative, neighbor having access to firearms?
But Terry, look at this case we're talking about. His family went to authorities.
Yeah.
They told the authorities he's a person that has issues and he has potentially access to firearms. So this is a question of will rather than anything else.
Good point.
Things definitely have to change, especially if you contact law enforcement. You expect, of all people, they will listen and follow through and do something. Appreciate it, Pierre. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.